Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Yes, I am on later, but I told you I had my interview, which went very, very well. So I go 4 for 4 on my 4 interviews. Don't know what that is. We have a very interesting Egon video to discuss, which is what I say in my title. The gold demand and price will go to the moon is because the as they say, it's really been central bank buying and me and you buying, and the pension funds and stock funds aren't buying. Well, that's about to change. They've been talking to Egon about how to buy, and they are huge. As we know, the higher the demand, the higher the price. And if they're starting to talk to Egon about it, Katie bar the door. All right, but we're going to get to that in a little bit because we got baseball. What a day we had yesterday. I'm actually thinking I can actually pick baseball games. First game's at 6:40, which starts now, 6:45, so I better get to it. First game, Milwaukee, Philly. Give me 5 minutes, then we'll go to yesterday's. Milwaukee, Philly, Jared Koenig, 5-1 at 2-1-3. Zach Wheeler, 6. All right, we're going Philadelphia. We're going to go under 8. And we'll go 5 units. We got two very low ERA pitchers going. Go under, beat Navy. 6:45, the Mets in Washington. Tyler McGill, 0-2-169 against Mackenzie Gore, 4-4-291. What do we got? Another under? Tyler McGill has pitched. He's pitched in 3 games. 4 innings, gave up 2 runs. 5 innings, gave up 3 runs. 7 innings, threw a 3-hit shutout. Well, you can't. There's nothing you can do with this guy. Mackenzie Gore, 4-4 at 291. I really don't like it. All right, then we get a little break till 7:07. We got Baltimore and Toronto. Grayson Rodriguez for Baltimore, 5-2 with a 3.53 against Kevin Gausman, 4-3, 4.14. Which Kevin Gausman shows up? He can be good and he can be crappy. Now let's go over Baltimore over 7.5, but I'm not going to play it for anything. Detroit, Texas. We got a win with Detroit yesterday. I had Boston over 9, and it's 4-4. It's 4-2, then it goes 4-3, then it goes 4-4. So I'm thinking I'm going to get a push on it, and then the Tigers score 4 runs in the 10th or 11th, whatever, and win 8-4. So I get an over. They actually did the reverse of what I wanted them to do, and I actually won with them. It's freaking amazing. It was the first time for everything. Tarek Skubal, their ace, 7-1 with a 201 against Nathan Eovaldi, 2-2 with a 284. We're going to go under here. So we're going to go Texas under 7, but I can't play it. Skubal got killed the last game out. Nathan Eovaldi's 2-2 with a 284. So Detroit, they're starting to have a few better hitters, average-wise. They still stink. They're 29-30. Texas 29. Texas has a lot of injured players from last year's club. Matt Scherzer hasn't played yet. St. Louis, and now we're getting into the 8:00 hour, so that's an hour and a half. St. Louis, Houston. Kirk Gibson, 4-2 with a 3.60 for St. Louis. Here we go. Verlander, 3-2 with the 3-2-6. Let's look at Kyle Gibson. See a match for our man from Indiana. Now, he's pitched quite a bit. He had two bad games early in April, gave up 7 runs to Miami and 4 runs to Arizona. And then it's been 1-1-1, a 3-2, a 5 to Boston, a 3 and a 1. So he's had 1 bad game in his last 10. So he's got it figured out. We know Verlander is superstar. We're going to go under. We're going to go Houston under 8. And this is going to be 10 units. Why don't you just take Verlander? Well, because Gibson's been throwing a lot of 1-run games, so this should be a low-scoring game. So go Verlander under 8 for 10 units. Cincinnati and Colorado. Andrew Abbott 3-5 with a 3.29 against Ryan Feltner 1-4 with the 5.46. Abbott's 3 so let's see. It's in Colorado, so obviously it's an 11-run game. I hate this. I got a 5.46 pitcher against a 3.29. Andrew Abbott. Who the hell is this guy? From Virginia. And he's pitched quite a bit. Never heard of him. Last 5 games, 6, 7, 7, 5, 5 innings pitched. 6 runs, shutout, 1 run, 2 runs, 2 runs, 4-1. Wow, it's about. So against St. Louis, he gives up 6 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs. 7 innings against San Diego, 4 hits, 0 runs. Against Arizona, 4 hits, 1 run. Against the 49ers, 6 hits, 2 runs. And against Baltimore, 7 hits and 2 runs, again in 5 innings. Not too bad. So this guy more than likely will be okay. Ryan Feltner 1-4 at the 5.46 being there. So is it a low scoring game in Colorado? I don't know. I'm going to have to pass because this guy, Andrew Abbott, has been decent. 11's a big number even in Colorado. I don't know why they don't move the fences back to like 500 feet if it's so easy to score there. I'm going to pass on that one. Oh, hell, there's only a few more games. San Diego and California. Rod Carew is going to play for California tonight. San Diego 140, 8.5. Matt Waldron 3-5, 4.26 versus Tyler Anderson 5-5 with the 2.47. Let's see, what do we got on San Diego? 3.75 ERA, 260 batting average. Wow, San Diego's hitting the hell out of the ball. And California is 4.85 ERA and a 2.40 batting average. I got California as a Z team. San Diego is favored. I don't know what I have no idea here. And the 49ers against Arizona Cardinals. We got Montana going against Kyler Murray. Obvious mismatch for the 49ers, and I don't have pitchers, so I can't tell you about it. How the hell could I not have pitchers? Let's go inside. Maybe they're there. Maybe they're hiding. Oh, here we go. Eric Miller. 0-2 with the 4.0 against Ryan Nelson, 3-4. Oh, okay. Now we know. Okay, so we're going to go over in the 49er game. Over 9. No wonder the line's so high. And we'll play this for 5 units. So we got 3 picks. Philadelphia under 8. Houston, the Verlanders, under 8 for 10 units. And the 49ers over 9 for 5 units. So 3 plays. There's only 6 games. I can't play the Tigers. Milwaukee Phillies just started. As I told you, it was starting quickly. The Mets in Washington just started. We didn't play that game. And you got 15, 20 minutes for Baltimore, Toronto, which we took Baltimore over, but we didn't play it. The Verlanders are not until 8:10, and 49ers are at 9:40. All right. So let's look at yesterday's baseball. Holy shit. Saturday and Sunday. I am the man. Uh, so we'll go through everything and then my picks. First, so Minnesota wins. Baltimore under 9 wins. Boston over 9, the Tiger game, as I told you, won. Atlanta over 8.5, I lost. Toronto over 8, I won. Cleveland over 8, I lost. Arizona over 8, I won. Miami of Ohio over 8.5, I lost. KC over 8, I lost. Milwaukee over 8, I won. The Cubbies under 7, I won. The Yankees over 8, I won. Seattle, I won. Colorado under 8.5, I won. And Philly over 9, we pushed. It was 5-4 in the extra innings. Now my picks. Minnesota for 5 units, a winner. I lose Atlanta for 5 units. Atlanta over. I'm even. You hit Toronto over for 5 units. We're up 5 units. Arizona over 8 for 5 units. We're up 10. We lose the Miami and the KC overs for 7 units. So we're down 4. And we hit Milwaukee for 5, the Cubs for 5, the Yanks for 5, Colorado under for 5, and Philly over 9. The Yanks were actually over 8. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25 minus 14 is 11, 16, 21, 16. Another plus 21 units. We had 20-some units on Saturday. Holy fuck. If I get 20 units tonight, there's only 3 games. It's a 10 and 2 5s. So the bigger games yesterday, Miami of Ohio and Kansas City for 7 units, I lost. But I hit all the freaking 5-unit ones. Just a huge day. I mean, near the end, Milwaukee over 8 wins, Cubs under 7 wins, Yanks over 8 wins, Colorado under 8.5 wins, and the Phillies are a push over 9. So starting to get the handle of this. Like I said, Verlander, I would have taken him tonight, but the guy he's pitching against has a low 2-something ERA. So we're going to go under with it. That's what happened to Verlander last game. It was like 2-1 in the 10th inning, and he lost. And I'm like, why didn't I play the under in the game? Because the guy had a 3.5 ERA. This guy's got a better ERA. So that's it. NBA is not on until 6/6. Today's the 3rd. Today is what, Monday? 4th, the 5th, the 6th, Tuesday. So it starts Thursday, kind of an odd day to start it. What are they waiting for? God only knows. So we will probably take Dallas quite a bit in that series. I don't think they can stop Luca Brasi. Nobody's really been able to stop him. And Boston has not impressed at all. Larry Bird hasn't played, so fuck him. All right. So that's baseball. I did get my unemployment check today, and I was surprised because I looked at like 11 o'clock. My interview was at 1. So I go, well, let's see how much money I need to take out of the bank. I just looked, and the check hit. It didn't hit Saturday or Friday. It's today. Okay, great. So I don't have to run to the bank to cover rent. Okay, I'm very happy. Rent will hit tomorrow. So I'm happy. I take the interview. I do great. I'm thinking just do what you did the other 3 interviews. A VP and a CFO, and you had the guy, and, everything went well. We were a good team. We're a good, I think I can really help you because they need somebody who's very, very productive, very automated. I can do a lot, critical thinker. And it was worked out, and I hope to get the job. I think I will. Pays very well. It's remote, so theoretically I can go to Europe and work for a week or so and meet the girls. So everything worked out very well, and now I'm just waiting. I think I'll hear by Thursday, which actually I think I'll hear by Wednesday. Get an offer. I'll have to pass a drug test and a background check, which is no problem. I don't do drugs except for cinnamon and ginger, so they're not part of the problem. So that'll be good. So I'll be excited about that, and then I can run to the gold store and buy more gold. And that leads us into the gold. What the fuck's going on? So I caught two Egon ones today. One didn't make any sense. And man, Mark Puffenberger, I got to see terrible. Mark Puffenberger is fucking clueless. He just rumbles on like these other guys. They talk. Mark McGuire is known to do that, right? They talk about God knows what. They don't get to the point, and they never answer the question. And so really not much to listen to on that one. But then Egon does his normal monthly one. And let's just say now this is good because it's just Egon and he gets right to the point. See, Egon, yes, the question gets to the point. Mussenberg and Rickards and Rick Rude and half these guys, you ask them a question and it's a week from Monday, and they never answer it. They just rumble on. Peter Schiff, he just rumbles on. What time is it, Peter? Well, they invented the clock in 1946, and the Swiss did it, and they don't have income tax in Switzerland. Da, da, da. Peter, we asked you what the fuck time it is. Why can't you give an answer? So let's get to Egon. Now, Luke, are you there? Well, you're going to like this. I'm going to go to you first. Where's it at? I think the 15-minute mark. Okay. So what's happening in English that I'll explain to get to the point. We know Russia and China are buying gold. But what's starting to happen is pension funds and big investors are starting to want to figure out how to buy gold. So that makes the demand go up. And when the demand goes up, the price goes up. Because it's like the Super Bowl, right? The first 70,000 people buy the tickets for 300. But if there's 500,000 people that want to go, they start bidding on it in the secondary market. So it starts at 350. Oh, wait, these are 50-yard line tickets. I want $5,000 for it. You get $5,000 because people want to go and they have money and you're still undervalued, so they buy it. So this is what's happening there. You have these people who are starting to realize I need gold. So this would be about 7 minutes, roughly. But he really nails it. But it's what I've been saying, so I'll take credit too. He really nails, again, if the demand's high, the value goes up. He has something about being a gold bug. I don't even know what a gold bug is. I'm not a stacker. I'm a collector. So I don't know what he's talking about. He's so worried about being a gold bug. And he keeps saying, well, I just buy gold because it's the only place to put your money. Well, don't call yourself a gold bug. Like, hello, McFly, you just don't have to do it. All right, let's listen to Egon today.
And at the same time, I will put another link into the description box. China is dumping US treasuries. For instance, they saw what happened to the Russian reserves when they were seized, 300 billion. So this is putting big pressure on the USA, but on the other hand is supporting the precious metal prices. So it seems we have more wise people in the East than in the West.
Yeah, and this is so fascinating. If somebody asked us a year ago, if gold would reach the levels we're at now, almost 2,400, and silver over $30, we would have expected to see massive buying from the West. But that's not the case yet. There were, and all the buying that's pushing prices up is coming basically from the East, and obviously also from the BRICS countries. And but it's not just central banks buying, which is of course continuous. And as I've explained before, the fact that the US confiscated or froze Russian assets in international banks means that no central bank will ever want to put their reserves in US dollars, because they know they can lose it all whenever the US decides to freeze it. And thus, we will see gradual move from central banks from holding dollar reserves to holding its reserves in gold. That's going to take time and be gradual shift, but that's going to be
Not a lot of
monumental for the
time.
gold market, because you're talking about a permanent shift here and into many, many thousands of tons of gold, which are not available, of course, at the current price. The only way to get more gold is not through new production, as we have talked about before, but because there isn't more than 3,500 tons to produce every year. The only way that these central banks can get more gold is through a higher price. They will have to pay more, and therefore they will automatically, at the higher price, they get more gold for their money, but they don't get more.
There you go, Luke. So, as the demand for gold goes up and the banks don't want to get into money, they're all running away from money, and the BRICS need gold for gold-backed currency because they see what happens. Here's the US dollar going out because you just keep printing it to zero. This is the problem. It's the temptation with it. It's sort of like when the kids are home alone, right? You got 12-year-old kids and you go to the movies, or you used to go to the, now you go out, I don't know, you're going to the casino. That's where I would go, right? And the kids are home alone and they just can play, and they play. And that's the problem when you don't have anything watching the dollar. When the gold isn't babysitting the dollar, the JP Morgans, like our little kids, go, oh, we can print more, we can print more. And they print and print and print. And the dollar goes to zero because they just can't help it. And so China, Russia realize this, and BRICS, and they go, no, we got to have it gold back. We have to have control on it, or it's just going to go out. Now, the amount of gold that China has, 60,000 tons, and Russia with probably 25, 30,000 tons. India's coming up now 10, 15,000 tons. Again, this is unallocated, not on the central banks, which is why I hate when Rickard says, oh, they got this much in the central banks. China's got 2,000 tons. You're like, what an idiot. No, this is the problem. All this bad information by these idiots. This is what I'm trying to warn you about, is the bad information. No, China's got 60,000 tons. China's population's buying it like water because there's nowhere. You go to work, you can't put it in the stock market because they don't trust China's stock market. You can't put it in housing, it's collapsed. And they can't buy Bitcoin because it's illegal there. So the only other place, if you're working in China, is gold. And all these accounts are going into gold. The demand for gold just from the people of China is through the roof. That's number one. Now we got these pension funds and these others that Egan's going to tell us about. The more that there's a demand, the higher the price. Because what happens is, I mean, it's the Mahomes cards, right? There's only 50. But if there's 100 people that want it, the price is going to go up. Well, in gold, there's only 250,000 tons, of which most of it's gone to the central banks. And if it's gone, and now there's 1 billion people who want gold, there's not enough. So the price goes up. And we're going to finally get a real price here, which is going to be so high, your heads will swim. At first, it'll be priced in dollars. And then, as I say, it won't be priced in dollars. It'll be priced in gold. So eventually, this is the price. So don't worry or think, well, Well, wait a minute. My house goes to zero because the dollar's going away. Right? So you're sitting there going, well, if everything's priced in dollars goes to zero, doesn't this go to zero? And the answer is no, because this is the money, gold and silver, and this will be the price. So this doesn't go to zero. This goes to the fucking moon because now you need this to buy, and there's not enough of it. That's why I tell you to buy it now, because you won't be able to afford it later. So that's really the key. Let's get back to you again.
Wait, they're going to get more in money terms. And that movement is going to go on for a long time. Then, of course, China, the retail sector in China is also buying heavily gold. And India is buying a lot of silver, especially. So we are seeing the wise people in the East continuing to buy, whilst Western central banks are not buying any gold, and even normal investors in the West are not buying.
Hey, we are
interesting,
too.
though, Jan, is that we're having continuous discussions with major investors at different levels. And we've just had a round of discussions with major international wealth managers. These could be either wealth management companies that have the biggest billionaires, etc., as clients, or it could be some of the major banks that have a wealth management departments. And they're telling us, number one, they are now interested in looking at gold for their clients. And the clients are also starting to ask for gold and the best way to buy gold. And this is why we're having the discussions with them, because, of course, we have others.
That is so music to our ears. So what he just said is pension funds and these billionaires are now going, yeah, I think we need gold. And if we already have it and there's not enough of it and the big players want it, what do you think happens to the price? Fuck, you'll never see 2,000 again. You'll never see 10,000 again. Once these people roll in, and with the supply as short as it is, and the central banks already bought, and the Chinese and Russians and Indians and the Saudis already bought, there ain't a whole lot left. So if you want it, you want my quarter ounce maple leaf? Well, I paid $6.50 for it, but you know what? Add a zero to it. That's what I'll sell it to you for. So we're going to assume gold's 20,000. I want 5,000 for this, or I'm not selling. And that's what's going to happen. So they're going to, okay, I just need it, and I'll get 5,000 for it. That's when I'll start thinking about selling it. But I certainly don't want this. Please be careful selling any asset. Your Picasso, your Rolex, your Mantle card. You don't fucking want this unless you're going to take it and go buy something with it. You do not want to hold this. This does not go. You do not have a bank account, and this does not go in it. You don't even want it in your safe. You don't want anything to do with it. You keep a little bit for your mortgage, your property taxes, some food. That's it. You do not want to sell your Rolex and get this and keep it. So if you sell your Rolex and you get this, you don't walk, you run to the gold store and buy as much gold as you got for it. Again, my friend who I used to work with, just some guy in the back room comes up with $100,000. We go to our coin store and he buys $100,000 worth of gold. I nearly shit my pants. I'm like, where do you got $100,000 from? And he just bought 100,000 in gold. And I told him, well, you need silver too. And he went back and bought 100,000 of silver. Where do you get? You're just a fucking worker in the back room. So he had 200 grand and he bought gold and silver. And I'm sure he's a happy camper now. And he's about to be a really happy camper. So as the demand goes up, the price goes up because there really is not a lot of gold and silver. It is price fixed by COMEX, which they're about to not be able to do anymore just because of the demand. So if people want, they're going to Egon saying, Egon, buy me 1,000 tons. So he goes to COMEX, they lower the price, he buys it. Well, they can't lower the price like they used to, and they talk about it here, and it's just I'll try to get to that point. Problem is, it's all in German, so I can't read the fucking sections. But that's where it is. So anytime you have a demand for a product and it's short supply, and the closest thing we're going to come to is the Mahomes card. Anytime it's a 50 count and there's more than 50 people want it, the price goes up. Super Bowl tickets, college football, playoffs, gold and silver. Why do you think that, 1906 Hannes Wagner card was worth so much? Because there's only 6 of them. And it was a PSA 2 or something, but there was only 6 of them. And since it was worth so much, and then it became, remember Wayne Gretzky bought it, and then he bought it for $1 million, sold it for 2. It's probably 20 million by now. And it's anything that's really limited. And then anytime there's more demand than there is supply. So there's 100 Mahomes people and there's 50 cards. Anytime you have that, price has to go up. Because once the first 50 are gone, there's still 50 buyers that are wanting it, and you're not going to sell it at a loss. Why should you? You don't have to. So that's what's happening. All right, let's go.
To help them with that. So that's a development that we're going to see in the next few years. Interesting, Jan, is that family offices, the sector of family offices, which are advised by these wealth managers.
I don't know what that is.
Family office market is bigger than the hedge fund market and the private equity market together. So you're talking about a massive market now here on top of the central banks and sovereign wealth funds and BRIC countries. Another sector that is now starting to look seriously at holding physical gold here. And that's a big market, as I said. So that's another sector or source of funds which will come into the gold market. Again, it will be gradual. No?
I don't know what this family thing is that he's talking about, but it's huge and they want gold. So welcome to the party. And that's music to our ears. All these people, the lights are starting to go on that the Titanic's sinking. And now these people are realizing I need a lifeboat. Well, we've been in the lifeboat for a while. And so we're now realizing now I want to run out and buy more. So hopefully I get this job in the next day or two. Then I'm pulling the money out of my safe that I've been waiting, for the job, and run and go buy more gold. So, and then my first paycheck will be gold. And these idiots here keep going back to the coin store and selling their gold. So I have it because these idiots keep selling it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any. I wouldn't have any available. And then all these big ones, all the central banks are buying the big 400-ounce bars. I'm just, hey, I got a 1/4 ounce, woo, and I'm all excited about that. Silver is always run, don't walk, run and go buy $1,000 worth of silver. Fuck it. If you can't afford it, I don't want to hear it. It's $32 an ounce. It's going to the moon because these people are not going to just buy gold. They're going to buy silver also because they're going to realize why they're buying it to get out of the dollar. So they're going to buy physical gold, but the physical gold's going to go up 10,000 an ounce. Well, what do you think it's going to do? They're going to start jumping on silver. And so just jump on gold and silver as much as you can buy.
Happen overnight. Combine that with the fact that central banks are doing all they can to destroy the value of money and support the gold price by printing more and more money. So that will automatically support the gold price for many years to come, because these deficits are not going to disappear. They're going to continue for many years. So there are so many factors, Jan, now supporting gold. As you know, I'm not a gold bug. I'm actually someone who just sees gold as the best a method to
The
preserve
best
wealth.
lifeboat.
But I see gold as taking a major role in investment markets and as well as wealth protection markets in coming years now.
Very interesting observation with the family offices, Egon, who has a lot, of course, has a lot to lose.
I never heard of family
And if they
offices.
do
I'll
not
have to
prepare,
Google
they
it.
will lose a lot. There's another interesting observation we saw in the past, that when gold increased or had a nice jump, then the commercials came in, shorted, then it fell down and they covered. This movement is not anymore as strong as in the past, not at all. And I think we discussed this also in one of our past discussions. The price setting power has shifted to the east also. We see their premiums, so there will be arbitrage. They have to take precious metals from London and the US. I think most of that will go through the Emirates. They deal with everybody, of course. So the price setting power moves to the east also. And it's really a strong case for the precious metals. So what can the West do? The only thing they can do when they cannot win this war, and they for sure will lose it, they can only try to distract the people. What we said at the beginning, keep the markets up with funny money and try
Stock markets.
to keep this market calm. So as we have it now, gold and silver, gold at record prices, silver not yet, but still a very quiet market. No euphoria, still a good time to buy. What do you think?
Well, it definitely is. We have been in the gold market for wealth preservation purposes in a major way for 25 years. And I tell my clients, we tell my colleagues that we haven't even started yet. We've seen excellent, fantastic growth over the 25 years, but and the gold price is up 7, 8, 9 times since we started, depending on the currency you measure it in. But in the way I look at this and what we have been discussing now, the era for gold is starting now, and the major moves in gold is starting now. And the major move from world financial asset into gold is starting now. Now is financial assets, only 0.5% of world financial assets are in gold today. Only 0.5%. If that increases to 1 or 1.5%, that is more gold than is ever available, and the only way to satisfy that is through much, much higher prices. And that's going to happen just because of the demand. That's not going to be speculative. These are going to be secular shifts into holding gold for the long term. So we're not talking about now futures markets or speculators coming in. But there are major substantial shifts from big investors. It's not going to be one move. There will be corrections.
No, there won't.
Not now. We're not far from a big correction yet. We're going to see much more move to the upside, in my view, before we see big correction. But there will be correction in big moves also. So investors shouldn't be surprised. Better to buy when it's low, like now, than to wait for it to be much higher. But the long-term trend of the precious metals markets is strongly up. That's a fact. And of course, silver, which is more speculative and more volatile.
No, it isn't.
And the up move will move 2-3 times as fast, but will also correct 2-3 times as fast. So investors must be aware of that. That is, it's much better. So you sleep better at night if you hold gold than if you hold silver. But if you want a real roller coaster ride, silver is very exciting.
Absolutely, and I chose.
Okay, so I don't know what he's talking about with corrections. Corrections are in stocks. Microsoft goes up 30 points, you sell it, it drops down because of the selling, and then you buy it again. Okay, gold is not a stock. There is no point there's not enough gold. What is the correction? You're going to profit take it, and you're going to get this, and then what are you going to do with this? Oh, I need to buy gold. So there's no incentive to sell the gold, to get this, to then go buy the gold at a premium, and it takes away all your profit. So there's no way you're selling your gold. And since that's the only way it can drop, there is no correction. These guys, the more they talk, the stupider they sound. You cannot correct. You don't correct gold and silver. You correct stocks. They take the profit. There's no profit here. Yeah, okay. I bought it for 450. My quarter ounce it's worth, let's say, 700. Okay, I can make 250. Okay, but what do I get? Oh shit, I get this again. Well, I don't want this unless I need it and I need to pay a bill with it. I don't want it. And even then, it's not really profit taking, is it? You're selling your asset or your Rolex or your Mantle card because you need the money for that. That's not profit taking. Profit taking is buying the stock at $100, goes to 150, you take profit because you think it's going to go back down. It went up too much too fast. Gold and silver are not like that. They are not going up too much. They are going up, up, up. The only reason they drop are these COMEX derivatives. And once the derivatives out and the game is no more options, and it's just buy. And when the central banks are selling, one of the central banks, they'll never sell. These portfolio guys aren't selling. Nobody is fucking selling their gold until maybe, So if I buy silver at 32, what's the guy saying? At 100, I'm going to profit take? I don't think so. So I don't know what he's talking about with correction. It makes zero sense to me. Its correction is when COMEX corrects because they want to lower their price. COMEX is getting out of it because they can't, because there's too many buyers for them. They're being made off. As the buyers come in, they can't do their shorts, they're gone. And once they're gone, there is no correction. It's gone. And so now it just goes up. I want. And as it goes up, more people come in. There's no correction. Correction is a stock term, not a gold term, not a. Is there a correction in my Joe Montana rookie card? Went up to 125. I don't see it correcting down. It goes up and up and up, goes to the moon. The Jordan rookie card, $500,000. Is it being corrected? I don't think so. Who in their right mind is selling it? Well, there's one guy on eBay we know, but I mean, basically, maybe he bought it for $100 and now he's profit taking. That could be he needs the money, but I don't know about a correction. No, it's not. He's got it for 500 grand. It's not like it's 300,000. It's 500 grand, and that's what he's selling it for. All right.
This background for a reason. I really like silver. So Egon, we are in the perfect time for precious metals. I can only advise the people to hold on what you have and continue adding. We are in dangerous times. Anything can happen with Russia, Ukraine, Taiwan.
Yes.
Who knows? We have so many black swans. We have to think about unthinkable events, literally. Anything is possible. Therefore, rather prepare a bit more than you would usually do. Final statement, Egon?
Yes, and also we have to remember when countries are under pressure, which the US is financially and politically also with the election coming up, and geopolitically with the risk of losing a war, an indirect war with Russia that they're having now.
Already lost,
you lead to happenings that will be totally unexpected. Normally countries under such pressure can easily start a war to divert attention away from the financial situation and blame the war for everything. So these are the kinds of events that we can see in the next year or so, and especially the election and the Trump situation. There's 50-50 between the voters, between Trump and Biden. Nobody
isn't.
Accept the outcome. So that
Trump's going to win, Egon, if they have an election.
So we have enough on our plates, Jan, to create very much of unrest in financial markets, in the economy, and socially also. This is why people got to look after their house and prepare. At least they can protect their financial side by holding some precious metals. It doesn't solve all the problems, but it solves a part of the problem.
At least if you don't have the financial problem, that is a big problem. The situation is becoming harder and harder for them.
Well, Jan, walking around high street or shopping malls in the US, you see the number of shops, you see the number of restaurants, you see the number of cafes everywhere. And then the output and the choice for the consumer of fashion and of gadgets. I mean, it's just unlimited. All of this has emerged in the last 30 years or so, all based on expansion.
What he doesn't understand is there's 360 million people. So, of course, you're going to have a lot of shopping and a lot of restaurants. Sometimes he's a Swiss. He doesn't get that.
In money supply, that means expansion in credit. People haven't had the money to buy all of this for. Only marginal amount comes from their own savings. It comes from just expansion of credit. And that's why this all adds up. And that credit is never going to be repaid. They can't afford to repay it as unemployment increases. People start losing their jobs. There are many of us, we said, are already working 2 jobs, and many are not working at all and living on unemployment benefits. That just doesn't add up. Banks are not going to get the money back. People are not going to afford to pay their loans back. And that's when we will see the banking system coming under real pressure and probably not surviving in its present form. And that will happen at some point in the next 5 years or so. A real problem in the financial system.
And Egon, there is one important factor. We know the propaganda of the analysts, the Federal Reserve, and politicians, of course. With rate cuts, everything will be good again. We only have to lower the interest rates. But what if? Let's see what Goldman Sachs recently said, which, by the way, fits to your statement that we will see higher interest rates for longer and even increasing. CEO David Salomon said on Wednesday he does not expect the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates this year. I'm still at 0 cuts, Salomon said at the Boston College event. I think we are set for a stickier inflation. These comments came after Federal Reserve policymakers said on Tuesday the US central bank should wait several more months to ensure that inflation really is back on track to its 2% target before cutting interest rates. And we know what that means, Egon. No cutting is absolutely fatal. We saw this chart of the escalating interest rates on the US debt, and not only the state debt, the private debt. With such a statement, they really must have something else in mind. Maybe they expect World War III soon and don't care about the economy at all. I think so, by the way. What do you think?
Well, Jan, we are in front of a major disaster happening. And let's be clear, interest rates peaked in 1980. And we're coming down for 40 years to about 2021. That was the bottom. We are now likely to see a trend of probably uptrend in interest rates of 30, 40 years. And so will inflation increase at the same time. It won't be a straight line. There will be corrections. There will be interest rate cuts within that up cycle. But overall, we will see much more higher rates for the simple reason that inflation is here to stay. I mean, this low inflation that they're showing now down to 3% or whatever, but that is totally artificial. The real inflation is much higher. Every 20%. Consumer knows that prices are going up by a lot more. Of course, the dilemma the US has on the one hand, they need to increase or decrease interest rates or reduce interest rates in order for the economy to survive and be able to pay interest rates both for the government and for individuals. On the other hand, the continued push on inflation will mean that rates are going to go up. And that will, of course, bankrupt the US and bankrupt individuals also. And I have said it many times in our discussions, and I'll say it again, the Fed will lose control of interest rates. The market will start dumping bonds, especially the long end of bonds. And then that will push up also the short rates. And the US, with its debt now of almost mid-30 trillion already, and as I forecast, it will be up to 100 trillion by probably 2036, or probably before that, just by extrapolating the current trend. That is a level that, of course, the US is bankrupt. How they will solve that is through more money printing, but as we both know, you can't solve a debt problem by more debt. So that's why they are now caught in a situation which they can't get out of.
Absolutely. So the perfect.
They could get out of it if they had gold, and they just use that as the way to pay it off. So the reason you can't lower interest rates is because of inflation. And I've said this several times. If I loan you 10 grand and you pay me back in inflated dollars, I only get 8 grand for my 10 grand. Why would I be that stupid? So if I'm going to loan you 10 grand and I don't want to be paid back in inflated dollars, but I have no choice, I'm adding an interest rate to it. So I actually get about 12,000 inflated dollars, which gets me, or I want to get 12 grand back from my 10 grand. Otherwise, why do it? I'd be an idiot. So the 10 grand, I need 12 grand inflated dollars to make a profit. So I got to charge you an interest rate. That's why interest rates never go down. They can't, because nobody would loan. So we're fucked until we go to gold, but we don't have any gold. That 8,000 tons not real. So that's the problem. The beginning of the show was about stocks. But the stock market's really high. It's just money printing. They're just printing money and putting it in 4 or 5 stocks. It's all collapsing. I've warned you 3 years ago, get the fuck out of stock market. It's paper, it's made off, and you're going to lose because it's being pumped up by the inflation. So when the dollar loses its value, the stocks lose their value. So get the hell out of it if you're still in it. That's why when Luke asked me about his gold stocks, well, where I think the gold stocks will go up, but not first they're going to crash. Then they'll go up. So wait for the crash, then go up. You don't need to be in them. Just buy more gold and silver and you're fine. All right, a little bit more.
For precious metals, but still, interestingly, as you also said it in the past, who is buying? At least very few in the West. Let's see. This graphic here from one of your recent articles, Egon, we see the weekly transparent gold holdings here from Gold Charts R Us, and they continue down while the gold price is now close back to 2,400. At least in the Western countries, there is very little buying, but somewhere else there is. Let's see this also, and then I need your comment, Egon. And where does it go? Of course, to Russia and China, for instance. Here we see the total Russian gold holdings of the central bank flat for a while. But
we don't care about the central bank, fella.
By 3 tons.
We want Putin's backyard.
China increasing with big jumps, but we know that Chinese data, they probably have a lot more. So there's one thing for sure, it goes to China and Russia. And at the same time,
India,
I will put another link into the description
Saudi Arabia.
box. China is dumping US treasuries. For instance, they saw what happened to the Russian reserves when they were seized, 300 billion. So this is putting big pressure on the USA, but on the other hand is supporting the precious metal prices. So it seems we have more wise people in the East than in the West.
Yeah, this is so fascinating. If somebody asked us a year ago, if gold would reach the levels where we're at now, almost 2,400, and silver over $30, we would have expected to see massive buying from the West. But that's not the case yet. There were, and all the buying that's pushing prices up is coming basically from the East and obviously also from the BRICS countries. And but it's not just central banks buying, which is of course continuous. And as I've explained before, the fact that US confiscated or froze Russian assets in international banks means that no central bank will ever want to put their reserves in US dollars because they know they can lose it all whenever the US decides to freeze it. And thus, we will see a gradual move from central banks from holding dollar reserves to holding its reserves in gold. That's going to take time and be gradual shift. But that's going to be monumental for the gold market because you're talking about a permanent shift here and into many, many thousands of tons of gold, which are not available, of course, at the current price. The only way to get more gold is not through new production, as we have talked about before, but because there isn't more than 3,500 tons to produce every year. The only way that these central banks can get more gold is through a higher price. They will have to pay more, and therefore they will automatically at the higher price they get more gold for their money, but they don't get more in weight. They get more in money terms, and that movement is going to go on for a long time. Then, of course, China, the retail sector in China is also buying heavily gold. Yeah. And India's buying a lot of silver, especially. So we are seeing the wise people in the East continuing to buy, whilst Western central banks are not buying any gold, and even normal investors in the West are not buying. What is interesting, though, Jan, is that we're having continuous discussions with major investors at different levels.
All right, here's where we came in. How does he know what we're buying? Our class is buying gold and silver. I hate when he says that. Like, dude, we're buying. What are you talking about? All right, I haven't watched this, but it's 5 minutes, so we're going to see this. This is Robert F. Kennedy. Trump conviction is going to backfire on the Democrats. I'm like, all right. It might be really stupid.
Presidential candidate RFK Jr. joins me now. What do you think happened down there in Lower Manhattan today?
I think, Jesse, that it is going to backfire. This conviction is going to backfire on the Democrats. I think every time that President Trump has been indicted, that his approval ratings actually increase, his popularity increases. I think there's a large number of Americans who are going to see this as the politicization of and the weaponization of the enforcement agencies. And I think it's going to hurt. It's bad for our democracy. I think the Democrats feel like they have, the DNC feels like it has a candidate that cannot win fair and square in the polls. And so they have to win in the courts. They have to win by clearing the deck and getting their other opponents out of the race. I'm not a fan of President Trump's, but I want to win. I want to beat him in a campaign on a level playing field. I want to talk about his issues, about locking down the economy, shutting down 3.3 million businesses, about running up a $34 trillion debt.
35.
About engaging us in forever wars and doing favors for Wall Street. I don't want to beat him in a courtroom. I think it's not good for our country, and I think it's really going to backfire on the Democrats.
Well, I think maybe you have a little bit more honor than the city.
And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. So that's what we think. Let's see. See, this is what I don't like from Alligator. It's triple digit gold is coming on this day, but he never he never says it. I'm getting tired of Alligator. What else? Here's a good one. So this is Saudi going with Russia. Finally.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. I have a question for you. If you had to make a choice between having...
I like that Tony Robbins guy. Who the fuck is he? So Saudi's choosing Russia because they don't like this this ending of the war. So what's happening is they want to do these peace talks, and in Switzerland, and UK, the Ukraine's there, and the NATO, they didn't invite Russia. How the fuck do you not invite Russia? They're the ones doing the fighting. So China says, well, we're not going. And now Saudi Arabia says, well, we're not going. Why isn't Russia at the table for the end of this war? And it's beyond stupid. He's not wrong. Right? Where's the Russian guys? I like their flag, the Saudis. This guy's an idiot, Zelensky. Do you like the hat, the Saudi hat that the guy wears? What a bunch of bubbleheads, huh? Yeah, I like that. We're not begging to come. Who the hell is Zelensky to ban negotiations? He's got no power here.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget.
It was adorable. Who's Zelensky to tell Putin you can't come to their own negotiations? Wow, Zelensky! I can't believe he's still alive. I like Putin. I mean, he's like, fuck you. We're going to do what we want. At least he's a leader, more than what we have. And you don't really want Saudi. That was the one thing, was Saudi hadn't joined BRICS yet. They were waiting and negotiating with the U.S. Maybe they'll stay U.S. And now they're gone. Now they're Russian. And you don't want Saudi. How much you want to pay for oil? $1,000 a gallon? Wow. Anyway. So those are the videos I got. So the Egon one is right here. This one at 2613. Very good one. This one I was watching, but this Mark Pefflenberg, the other guy, is horrible. He's like Peter Schiff. He'll talk for an hour, but he doesn't say a word. There's like, I'm looking for like, oh, what can I share with the class? There's nothing. He gets asked the question, what day is it? And he's banking over here, and he never answers the question. So I'm not going to waste your time with that one. So again, let's go Austrian economics. When there's demand, price goes up if there's more demand than supply. And what we have in gold now, with all these new players coming in and wanting gold. So what's happened is, you go to your financial planner, he'll never tell you to buy gold because he doesn't get commission in it. And why would he put you in it? His job is to sell you stuff that he makes commission, like real estate trust, mutual funds, annuities. And that's what they want. And they want to make commission because that's what they're in business for, is to sell you some crap. We don't care if you make money or not. We're just there for the commission. And that's the problem. So for whatever reason, there's no commission in gold. You'd think there'd be commission in FX, like if you bought dollars against Swiss francs or against, British pounds, you'd think there's some FX trades that go on that they make money on. So I never understand that, but they'll never tell you to buy gold. They don't make commission on it. It's not part of the dollar. It's not part of the Ponzi scheme. Now these big hitters are coming into gold. The billionaires are starting to go, oh, we need gold, like 2 years too late. However, they're going to push the gold price up for us. And that's what we want. So we're sitting here waiting. Yes, Luke, we're waiting. And here we go. Now you're going to be glad that we did this. Now we're waiting. Now all of a sudden, here comes the buyers. And there goes JP Morgan and the derivatives. They're gone. They're out of gold. They're still in silver, but they're out of gold. And here comes all the big hitters going, we want gold. And there's not enough. So here goes your gold price. Let's take a look what gold price is at right now. I did the baseball. I never did the gold price. I think it was up pretty good today. Gold price 23.51, up 21.44. Silver 30.72. So you can see gold really did not have that 10 o'clock pullback. Very little at about 8 o'clock, and then a little bit at 10. But by 10:15 it was up. Got up to 23.53, and now it's going sideways at 6 o'clock, 23.51. Silver at 30.72. I would run that walk and buy as much silver as you can get. and wait for the same thing to happen in silver that's about to happen in gold. However, I mean, now gold, let's go to eBay. What can we buy it for? All right, so we can get a maple leaf for $24.62. We can get a mantle card at 48,000. Something seems amiss there. We can get another mantle card for 60 grand, and this is a PSA 9. Can you imagine what a PSA 10 in this would be? It'd be $1 million, because there can't be more than 10 of them. All right, Cougaran 23.98, a quarter ounce, 747, and a quarter ounce Philharmonic 646. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm sure the Philharmonic will be worth more. We've got a half ounce gold, $12.95. We got a quarter ounce gold. See here is $665, and a tenth of an ounce for $275. So the $665 doesn't make sense when here it's $747. So something's a little bit funny. And let's go to a tenth of an ounce maple leaf, $266. A quarter ounce maple, $631, which again seems low. The quarter ounce Cougaran at $637 seems very low. Sometimes these auctions, it's like, oh, we're out of stock. Quarter ounce Eagle, $661. So we're getting to 700, and then it's probably more in the 660s, 670s. And the Cougaran and Maple Leaf are probably more in the 650s, because it did go up $20 today. Hey, here's another mantle, which I have, but I don't know if it's a 9, 72 grand. And here's a big Mahomes card, 500,000. Not too bad. And our favorite Brady card, $7 million for a 10 count rookie. There's only made 10 of these, which shows you if it's limited, it's worth a fortune, especially if it's who it is, Brady. Back to gold, we've got a half ounce, $12.84. We got a 1 ounce or Maple Leaf, $24.31, and a 1 ounce Eagle. There you go, $2,500. There we go, which is a little bit high because it's $23.50, so you would expect $24.50. Then we got the Cougaran, tenth of an ounce, $264. Quarter ounce, $663. That's more like it. The half ounce Cougaran, $12.44. Here's our silver. This is not the dollar. This is the bullion, $38.96. Almost gone. So you're paying for it. I can still pay $32.34 at the store for it. And the half ounce Eagle, $12.80. That's right around $1,300. Our Joe Montana, $125,000. And that guy doesn't think you can make money in baseball cards. And then we got a 1 ouncer here, $24.89. It says ended. It's a $24.89. And a Clemente 9, they don't like him as much as Mantle, $7,700. I have the card. I don't know if it's a 9. I haven't gotten those graded yet. So here's $24.89 for 1 ounce. That's about what you expect. The one for 25, you don't know. So that is your eBay gold. So you can always buy it there, and sometimes they're good. You can always sell it there. So you want to sell your gold, go on eBay. They'll pay you first. So get the PayPal. Okay, I got my $2,500. So this is going to be really interesting. Gold hits 20,000, you sell your ounce, and you get your 20,000. Well, I guess it's like the Brady. So this is what I don't understand. Everybody's bitching. How am I going to take gold to the grocery store? Okay. How are you going to take Jordan to the grocery store? 500,000 is rookie card, PSA 10. How How are you going to take him to the grocery store? So just because you got an asset doesn't mean you're taking it to the grocery store. You sell it for whatever the medium of exchange is. If it's still this, but I wouldn't want 500,000 of these unless I'm going to run to the gold store. So I would sell this Jordan for 500 grand. I would take this and I would run as fast as I can to the gold store and give them the 500K and get 500K in gold. That'd be the only way I'm selling this Jordan now, unless I need it for expense. Now, most people are going to the gold store. They need money. They're retirees. They're probably retirees because this is, who has gold? The kids don't have gold, so they've had gold probably since $500 an ounce, and now they're all excited. It's their all-time high, and they're going to him, and he'll buy it. That's how liquid gold is. So don't worry about getting rid of it. Just find your gold store in your area, or come to Detroit, and he'll here it is. I could get $700 for it now, or I'd get spot. Well, whatever 2350 divided by 4 is, I guess 6 something. And he'll give you the money for it. It's the most liquid thing you can have. There's absolutely no, as long as you get like a maple leaf and you can tell it's gold, and then you can see it says it, quarter ounce, fine gold, quarter ounce, Canada. So as long as you walk in with this, the guy will pay you in a minute, and off you go, and you got your money. It's the most liquid thing there is. Now you don't necessarily, the banks won't buy it. You got to go to a jewelry store or a coin store who sells it, and you don't want to go to a pawn shop. So I told Jenna today that after hearing this, the gold's going to the moon. Where is it? Don't keep it in a safety deposit box in the bank, because if you do, you won't be able to get it out, especially in the middle of a war in the Ukraine. Keep it safe. And if you need to sell it, do not go to the pawn shop, because they're not going to give you spot. You got to find the store, the jewelry store or the coin store that sells it, that's dealing with spot. Now it's the Ukraine. Who knows if there is? I said, well, if we need to, I could sell an ounce here and give you the money, and then you give me the ounce that you have back. And that way you get the money, or we can go to Switzerland or somewhere and try to get money for it. But again, the problem is going to be, what do we want for it? We don't want dollars. So please don't make the mistake of getting this. This is worthless. Why the fuck would you sell gold for toilet paper, right? You got to be out of your mind. Theoretically, what you want to do with this is go buy a Toyota with it. Here you go. Go into Toyota, give them this. He gives you the Toyota. Or a house. You got 2 ounces of gold. Here you go. I want your house. You really don't want to get back into dollars and everything else. You want to just, this is money, and give it to him and buy his house or buy his car or something like that. Buy a dozen steaks with a ounce of silver. But that's really what you don't want to get back into the dollar. We're getting, again, I use the Titanic because it's a good example. I got off the Titanic. I'm in the lifeboat. Now, you want me to get off the lifeboat and go back on the Titanic when it's sinking? Are you out of your fucking mind? So I don't want to sell the gold to get back into the Titanic and get back on this when this is what I'm trying to dump to get into gold and silver. And I got to do it while I still have it. And soon I won't be able to use that to buy gold and silver. The gold and silver price in US dollars will get so high that you won't be able to use it. It'll just be, we're not taking it. Nobody wants, the demand for dollar will be zero. And you can see the de-dollarization, and look at Saudi Arabia. They said, fuck you. We're going with the Russians and the Chinese. They don't want dollars. So if nobody wants it, how is it worth anything? Well, it's the reserve currency. Yeah, whippy, only because you have to use it for the FX. So again, as I said, if I'm Egon and I'm in Switzerland, I want to go to Germany, I got to get dollars and then trade the dollars for euros. Otherwise, the U.S. would have nothing, but they have to do it. There's no way Egon can get euros without getting dollars. So that's why it's the reserve currency. It's all bullshit. Nobody wants it. They're all trapped, and it's monopoly. So once the gold comes out, the gold-backed bricks, then there's an out. They don't have to. He doesn't have to trade it for dollars or sell it for dollars to then buy euros. He can go with the gold-backed bricks and tell the U.S. to go fuck themselves because I'm going to use this gold dollar to do everything. And it's all, and that's where it's at, and then the dollar's worthless. So do you really want to hold dollars? Probably not. Like Zimbabwe, I showed you that the kid's got, $1 billion and it's worth $1. So you got to be careful there. Do not get back into the dollar. It's gone. It's worthless. But they're not going to tell you it is. But if you just watch and you see all these other countries not using it, well, what do you think's happening? Why do you think they don't want it? A, they don't want to get sanctioned, and B, it's not worth shit. Problem is there isn't any currency worth anything except for the Zimbabwe because it's backed by gold. And now we're going to get the BRICS gold-backed currency. I think it'll be like 50% backed by gold. That's what I'm kind of hearing, but I don't know. I don't know if you need to make it 100%. So let's say it's 50%. But when the gold price goes up, the value of all the dollars goes up and they print more. So, look for this to happen soon. Russia, China with the gold-backed currency. They could gold back their own currency. They got so much gold. He who has the gold wins. Never forget that. So be your own bank. Get as much of this as you can. I got a quarter ounce because it was $650. So I could have got an ounce, but I didn't have 2,500. Now, if I get this job, which I'll know in the next few days, I can then go and empty the safe and go buy a bunch of gold. So that's what I have, and then hopefully the job's fine. It won't get hurt too much by the inflation. I know there's the inflation out. I don't know if they know it, and I don't want to really be I just want to play dumb a little bit and just keep paying. Can you guys pay me in this? I'll tell you what, I'll make whatever a month. Can you pay me? Can you give me like 5 ounces of gold for my paycheck? I don't think they can because they got to tax me, but that's what you just take it and then go buy gold with it. Although you do have to pay the fucking tax, which is, I love our partners, the government. Well, I hit the lottery. Well, why do you get 50% of it? Who the fuck are you? When I was losing, you weren't I wasn't getting 50% from you. Only when I win, I got to get 50%. What a corrupt bunch of bastards, the government, the whole banking system. It's so corrupt. So when you buy this, the other little hidden secret is you're out of the system. You're free. Nobody can tax you. Nobody knows you have it. And it can't be inflated because they can't print it, which is the best part. This is worthless because they printed $21 trillion of it and then 130 trillion outside for all this FX thing I told you. The Switzerlands are buying the dollar to sell to Germany to buy the euro. Well, that's why there's so much dollars out there. Well, it's way too much. So the dollar's worthless. You know it, but nobody told me. I can't trust Howard. So I'm just, it's not on Fox, so I don't know if I believe it. Okay. I get it. But that's what it is. But see, if they told you that, then there'd be panic. We don't want to panic anybody. So we're not going to tell you of this. I'm telling you, and I'm not trying to panic you. We're past that. I'm telling you to run out and buy as much fucking gold and silver as you can. And I know gold's expensive. That's what I'm saying. For the 650, now this is a maple leaf. I could have bought the eagle the American, it was $6.70. I said, fuck it, it's a quarter ounce of gold. I'll pay $6.50. Why should I pay more? So as long as it's at the coin store that you trust, and it's going to say fine gold, 1/4 ounce, and it's got the maple leaf, oh, Canada. And you can see, look at the color, $10, 1982, Queen Elizabeth. So, just look at the color. It's so gold. That's really what you like. Yeah, this is fine. If this was all faded and it looked like it was copperish, I'd be afraid it's not gold, it's copper. And that's really what you got to stay away from, is the idiots on eBay from China who are smudging it and trying to sell it as gold and it's copper. Please be aware of that. Don't buy from them. Usually it's cheaper, this 600. Oh, it's 300 for a quarter ounce. Oh, wow. What a great bargain. This guy must be an idiot trying to sell it for 300 when everybody else is selling it for 6. When you see that, don't be an idiot. Go, oh, fuck. Yeah, he knows what's going on. He's Bernie Madoff. He's trying to scam me, and I'm not going to get scammed. So be careful with that. You don't want to get scammed. So if it's too good to be true, it is, and that's what it means. And you look at, like an ounce, 24.50, 24.50, 24.50, 24.60, 2,200. Huh? Oh, I'm going to buy that one because it's cheaper. And then you get scammed and you wonder why you got scammed. Well, that's why you look at eBay and you look at everything. Go to a coin store that you trust. This guy's seen me so much, it's not a problem. He keeps going to me. Why do people sell when gold goes, like gold's 23.50? People will come in to sell it. He says, why are they selling it? And I go, because they're idiots. They don't understand what's happening with the price fixing, and now all these people trying to buy gold and all this demand and all this, whatever Egon said, with all the pension people are coming in. That's why I listen to Egon. They're all coming to me. How do I buy it? Well, that means they want to buy it. And when you add demand to what we have, the price goes to the moon, hence the title. I know, it's adorable. That's the point of it. You're trying to listen, but that's where I understand what makes sense and what doesn't. That's why I don't listen to Peter Schiff and all these other idiots, because I'm listening for them to do what Egon does. All these people want to buy gold, and therefore the price is going to the moon, because I can put 2 and 2 together. More buyers means higher prices. Charge. Buys, go buy. Egon says they're not all going to buy overnight. Oh, believe me, Egon, when they start buying, they're going to buy overnight. So you buy your gold now, because I can read the future, and I know 2-3 months out, the gold price is going to be so high because all these people are starting to get in. The billionaires are starting to go, I think I need gold. I don't think my money is going to be worth anything. And once we've got them in the game, then the game goes to a whole different level. And that's the thing. But when I listen to Peter Schiff or this other guy, or Craig Hemke, they don't know anything. They talk, oh, it's Say's Law, and they don't even know what Say's Law is, but they say it. And that's why I keep you away from them, is you're just wasting your time. You won't know what you're listening to anyway. Let me do that, but I can't find it except for Egon and a little Mark McGuire, a little bit of Alligator, but he seems to be getting weirder and weirder. So, it's not the gold going up, it's the dollar going down. Believe me, Alligator, when all these billionaires start buying gold, it is the price of gold going up. Moron. It's being held down by the COMEX. So of course the price of gold will go up to its normal price, which is at least 20,000 an ounce. That is at least, that's a minimum, because that when the dollar goes out, it is all gold, priced in gold. So get them now while you can. Silver's going to follow, but it's going to take a little bit. There is no profit taking. There is no reduction or whatever the fuck you call it. That only is in stock. It's only, I'm going to sell my Coke. It went from 20 to 40. I'm going to profit take. But Then I'm going to take my money, and that's where the Madoffs get you, and I'm going to put it in Pepsi, or I'm going to put it in Heinz ketchup or Hershey's Kisses. You don't take it. You just put it somewhere else. You never profit take. That's why I like sports so much better. Football, we win, we profit take, right? Then we add to our bankroll, and now we got more money. We've won. In stocks, you never win because you sell your Coke, you made money, and now you put it in a Pepsi, or you put it in I would say Doritos, but that is Pepsi, or you put it into Hershey's or Nestle's. Well, you haven't made anything. You just switched it. Football betting, we hit the games, and again, the Sunday's over, and we've won $1,000, and now it adds to our bankroll. We've made the 1,000. We've actually taken the money. Now you can cash it in, or you can play next week's games, and we'll try to hit another $1,000. Hell, the way I'm going baseball, we should start betting baseball now. Fuck, I'm unbelievable. I figured out the little secret to baseball, I guess, the starting pitchers' ERAs. So that's what you want to do is you got to understand, and the critical thinking is the boat hit the iceberg, now what? And then you have to figure out the sequence. Well, the water's going to come in. I got to get to a lifeboat and get off the fucking ship because the ship's going to sink. So you've got to play all that, and you got to do it with stocks. And you got to do it with gold. So we just did it with gold. Let's see. All these pension funds and billionaires want to buy it. What's going to happen? Well, they're going to want to buy it. Means there's not enough for them to buy because the central banks have been buying it. So they're going to have to buy from the central banks, which means they're going to have to pay a higher price for it. So because they now come into the game, they're coming to the table, they want to buy the gold. There's not enough gold out there. They're going to pay more, and they're billionaires, so they don't give a fuck. They just want to get gold. And as we know, when you buy 10 ounces, you want 10 more. And in their case, they're going to want 10 tons. They're going to buy 10 tons more. Price goes up because demand, just like the World Share, just like the Super Bowl. Why are the tickets high? Because the demand is more demand than tickets. And that's just basic economics that I teach you. So that's what we have in gold. There's more demand than there's gold. Price goes up. Oh, okay. So you mean if I have gold now, this hasn't happened yet. This is going to happen, and the price is going to go up. And guess what? I won't be able to afford it. I'll have to pay $10,000 for an ounce. Oh, shit. Well, I better go buy it now. So hopefully I get this job and I can run out and go buy a few more ounces and then start getting my paychecks and then turning them into gold. But we see what's going to happen. So critical think. These new guys are entering our world and want to buy, and there's no demand. There's no supply. It's not enough. So they're going to have to buy it from people who already have, which is going to be a higher price. And who wins? We win, because JP Morgan cannot do the derivatives because they're gone now. I mean, they can't. As soon as they do it, people are buying it hand over fist because there's much more buyers than JP Morgan fucking around with his derivatives. And that's why he's quitting. JP Morgan's quitting Diamond. He's just going to retire and go play with his gold and go play with his derivatives and wherever, so he stays out of jail. He probably won't be in the U.S. But what a schmuck that guy is. So I'm glad he's retiring, but we will see what happens. But be very careful with the banks and Wall Street. They're both Madoffs. They're both scams. Don't want anything to do with it. That's why I bring up Attack on Wall Street. You're going to be Attack on Wall Street guy if you listen and go buy REITs, real estate trust. Oh, I get 10% and there's no risk, and I got 60,000. What do you mean I got nothing? Oh, I'm going to have to kill everybody. I mean that. But if you bought gold, you wouldn't have to do any of that. So keep that in mind. What something happens, then what happens from that? A rock falls, something's going to happen. So keep thinking like that. Oh, wait, these guys want to buy, the price has to go up. So I better buy now because the price is going to go up. If I can even find it. Fortunately, I can find it at my store because these idiots come in and sell it at 2,300. And I come in and the guy's got a full thing of gold. I'm dancing around the store thanking him, like thanking my lucky stars. He didn't have just this. He had 2 of these and a bunch of halves and some ounces, and a bunch of dimes. So he had the whole thing full of gold because people come in and sell it. And he just shakes his head, and I just go, look, they're idiots. They don't know what they're doing, and or they need the money to pay bills. And I don't know what these people are going to do. If they need money now, if they sell all their gold, they're out of their fucking minds. I mean, go work at the grocery store or something, fellas. You cannot get to the point where you're selling your gold. No, because it's going to go to 20,000 an ounce, and you're going to buy houses and cars with it. You don't want to sell it at 2,300. Are you insane? So please don't be selling your gold at these cheap prices. Again, I told you I was in, and he offered me like 2,100, and I said add a 0 to it, and I'll give it to you for 21,000 for an ounce for an American Eagle ounce, but not 2,000. You out of your fucking mind? There's no way in hell I'm selling it at 2,000. There's no way in hell I'm selling it at 2,500 or 3,000. I'll think about it when it hits 10 grand, but it depends what the money is. If it's this crap, depending on if I need, but if I'm now working at this job, I don't need that, and I don't need to sell, and I'll buy much more. And that's why it's critical for me to have the job. Then I can run and buy more gold and not have to worry about having money to pay the bills, because I'll be getting paychecks, which will cover all that. But very delicious interview today. I listened. I was very stoic. I listened to what he said and gave him what he needed. I need somebody to help me, and I'm not really getting good quality, and I got to check everything. I said, not with me. You don't have to check a thing. I put a checker in there, and I highlight the key number, and I do all this and that. But I didn't bring up gold or Daria. That might have killed me had I brought up gold or Daria. So we will see. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Let's go through baseball one more time. All right. Phillies under 8, 5 units. Baltimore over 7.5. These games are already started. Texas under 7, or is it Toronto? It's Toronto or Texas? I think it's Toronto under. No, it's Texas under 7. Houston with the Verlander under 8, 10 units. And that game's you can still get. And Frisco over 9, 5 minutes. In that game, I think they start at 8:30 or 9. Those 2 games you can get. Philly under 8. I think started about 6:30, right after I came on. So it's only been an hour. It's probably in the middle. Huge couple of games. Basketball we'll talk on 6/6. NFL Week 1 I've talked about a few times. We can review that, but really I'm guessing on the starting quarterbacks. College football, I did talk about last week. I can talk about again, just going through the schedule. I think I'll do that tomorrow. That's always fun. I got to see if I can get my magazine. So I should hear about the job tomorrow, and then I got to do with a drug test and a background check. So that'll probably be like 2 weeks. So once I get the date, I can decide if I can go meet Jenna for a week. She's easier to meet because we can meet anywhere. Daria, she's got to get the mother to watch the daughter, where Jenna doesn't. Jenna, I can say, okay, let's go to Amsterdam for 5 days, or let's go to Spain or Greece for a week, and I can just fly out of here knowing I got the job and everything. But I won't do that until I know I'm not worried about the drug test or the background check. So once I say, okay, you start, in 2 weeks, and they still have to make me the offer, which will probably come Wednesday. I think everything went well. He seemed to like me, and I talked to the recruiter. They're like, it's just you, Howard. You're it. We the other people we sent, they didn't want to see. They liked you, and that's it. So anyway, so that's good. So I'm excited to get back to work so I can buy more gold and silver. And that'll be it. And it's remote. So theoretically, I can leave on a Friday night and end up in Europe on Saturday and then be with Daria or be with Jenna for a week or so and then fly home and just work from there. So, but I won't do it yet. It's too early. I'll meet Jenna if I have a few weeks to start so I can get a weekend with her before I start, knowing I'm going to start and or otherwise after like 2 months when I got my routine down, I know what I'm going to do, then I could go and say, look, I'm going to work remote. Or I might say, look, I have a vacation planned. Like if Daria says, okay, July, we can go meet in Serbia, I'll just say, look, I had this vacation planned, so I got to go. Well, probably around July 4th or something. Anyway, that's it. So happy day. Got my unemployment, which is a kind of good that I had to wait because I still beat rent. And then next week I get the unemployment again. So, and that should be, I think I'll have one more after that because that'll be last week and this week. And then it'll be next week and the week after will be my last one. And then I'll get real paychecks. But anyway, and then Social Security, I got to figure out what to do with. I'll still get paid it if I want it, but it's not taxed. And now that I'm working, getting real money, I got to pay tax on it all. I got to rethink it. So I might go single and zero and get taxed up the ass, but then I'm getting the Social Security to wash it. So I got to, there's a tax site that you can calculate my tax. And you put in your gross, 50,000, what's the tax I owe on it? So again, because I've only worked half the year, then it might not be that bad as working the full year and the Social Security. Supposedly next year, I'm supposed to be able to get Social Security not taxed, but I don't know if they changed that or not. We'll see next year. They keep fucking around with money that we've already paid tax on. Think about it. You got your paycheck. They took 7.65% out. The employer had to match it. Why am I paying tax on it again? I've already gotten taxed on it the first time, so it just sucks. Anyway, anything else? So gold, silver's going to go to the moon. It's still very, very cheap. It's still being manipulated by JP Morgan, but they can't do gold anymore. And with all the new people coming into gold, as I just talked about, look out. So it's going to be, but I think what'll happen is as gold goes, it's like 5,000 silver people, I can't afford it, and they'll start piling into silver. And silver is very short right now also because of all the domestic buying of the what do you call it? The solar panels, the electric cars, the Tomahawk missiles. So there's a big demand for gold, for silver, but it's also money. So you also have people like us wanting to buy it. So I might buy a little bit more, but I always have more fun buying gold because it's just easier. And then we'll have to think of a game plan. What do we do with it? So we're holding all this gold. We have it somewhere. You're going to hide it. You're going to have it in a safe. And then where do you want it? Do you want to take half to Switzerland? Do you want to take half to some other country or some other place? I'm thinking of these little lockers that you can get, like storage bins, for moving, and buying one of those, making sure nobody can get in, that I got the only key and lock for it, or even putting on my own lock and putting 3/4 there. Thinking of putting it in my car. Somebody breaks into my house, they might want the gold. They're never going to look in my car for the gold. And if I travel, I can leave it in the car in a secure lot. Nobody ever bothers that. So there's a few things that this is your biggest problem. You got 100 ounces of gold, and you travel, and you're scared out of your mind, going, "What if somebody steals it? I'm fucked." So you try to, okay, I'll leave half in the car and half in the house, or get a locker or something. And that's what really starts to bother you. You don't want to insure it because then they'll know you have it. And you don't want anybody to know you have it. So you got to be very quiet. And like you, I just say it's in a safe place, but you don't know where I live or anything like that. You might know I live in Detroit, but so does 10 million other people. Certainly don't want it in a security box. And you definitely don't want it in a bank or any government building because they will close and you'll lose it. So please be careful with that. So I got to work on a plan. Where do we put it? And then when the shit hits the fan, we got to be very careful because people will be starving and, you're going to be in trouble. This might have to come off because I really don't want to advertise that I have gold around my neck. I might have gold somewhere else. So I'm going to have to be very careful. So we will see. Like I said, I asked Jenna, where's your gold? I gave her the white tube. So all the gold and silver should be in one white tube. It's good for 20 units. So I hope she doesn't have it in a bank security box. She might, but I hope she doesn't. I don't think she would. I think she just probably has it somewhere in her apartment safe. Anyway, that's where we're at, folks. So good luck on the baseball. Basketball is not till Thursday. And enjoy the weather, enjoy the time, and that's about it. So I'm going to be looking at the economics a little bit more, and hopefully I'll have a job by Thursday. They'll have made they'll have at least made the decision probably by Wednesday, and then just the offer letter coming. Hopefully that's where we're at. I did make one small mistake today. I was telling him about this job I had in the 1990s, which ages me, it ages me 20 years. So I can, I don't know what I look, but I assume I look in my 50s. And so I think they're okay with that. Anyway, I think they hired the young kids, and the young kids don't care and didn't work out. So they want the older guy who's responsible, does a good job. That's where I really see the workforce having problems, is these young millennials and these people who they're all socialist. I want to sit at home and I want the government to pay. I don't care how they get the money, but I want them to pay me for sitting on my ass. So I'm not going to work hard. I think that's a lot of problems coming. All right, everybody. So watch Egon. The other Egon I wouldn't really, not worth it. Just the Egon I showed you, I would watch. And I showed you the alligator yesterday, or the day, I think it was yesterday, which was good, but you got it anyway. And that's about it. So enjoy the baseball if you're watching, and that's about it. So www.teaserking.com. If you want to email me, please feel free. And we're getting there. We're now in June, July, August. So we've got 2 months to football. So it's always exciting this time of year. You got your summer, and then here comes fall, here comes football. So very exciting. All right. Have a good day. I had a great day and very excited. So hopefully a great day tomorrow or the next day. Wednesday's a good day, 6-5. That'll be an 11 day for me. I like that. And that's about it. Okay. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. Enjoy yourselves. Buy your gold and silver. You're going to make a fortune right now.